Kia ora. Welcome. My name is Stephanie Cowan, Director, Change for Our Children, and this is an informal video about how to use a Pepi-Pod sleep space. Most people in New Zealand get their sleep spaces from the health service, and with it comes a safety briefing following these picture prompts on this briefing card. But others get their Pepi-Pod from a friend or a sister or a cousin or trade me, and they may not get the safety briefing. So this video is for you, so that you don't miss out. Right, first thing is, why are we doing this? If it's easy to breathe, then it's safe to sleep. So everything about the Pepi-Pod is to help make it easy for babies to breathe. Some babies need that help more than others. But whether your baby has been exposed to smoking in pregnancy or premature, and you are using a Pepi-Pod for those reasons, or whether you just want peace of mind or convenience, they are valid reasons too. Whatever the reason, this is how to use a Pepi-Pod, and it's why we've made it the way it is. Right, let's start with the box. Okay, simple, strong. It creates a physical zone of protection around a baby during sleep. It's trying to be as invisible and not there as possible. It's deliberately transparent so that your baby can see through and you can see through, because connection and bonding is very, very important in the early days for a baby, and this gives reassurance. So the little windows are for reassurance. On the windows we have icons, a little sun on this side and a little moon on that side. And this is to help with the head shape concern. Some people are a bit worried about placing a baby on the back because they may get a flat head. But flat heads can be managed. Sleeping on the back is important. Easy to breathe means on the back. So for those who are worried about head shape, remember this little rhyme. In the night, towards the right. In the day, the other way. If you help turn your baby's head in the different directions, you help change the resting spot. So here we have a little one. When they're awake, if they have a lot of time upright, gravity will help with that head. If they have tummy time, then gravity will help with that head. And when they're asleep, if you remember in the night towards the right, in the day the other way, then that will also help with head shape, particularly in the first 6 weeks or so. After that, babies wriggle around, and some of them wriggle around a lot before that, but they choose their own head resting spot. But you can help by thinking about it and giving them a little bit more opportunity to have a nice rounded head. Okay, what else have we got? So that we've got those. We've got the ventilation slits. I think you can see them better that way. At the top, deliberately at the top, so that air can move gently around your baby's face, but it's not the air that you have breathed in through the side. So they're free of your breathed out air, but they still get some circulation around their little face. It has markers for the pillow. If you're using this in your bed, an adult bed, you need to use the pod at the top of the bed and bring your pillow down to that mark at least. And that just clears your baby of your bedding a bit more, gives them a little bit more space of their own in your bed. Talk more about that later. So those are the markers. We have 3 hopes for your baby using this Pepi-Pod. We hope that they will be supported, protected and close. It's for use at a time when babies sleep and wake often and need to be close to you. They need a lot of reassurance in the early days that their world is safe. And little babies are not used to change. Where they have come from, nothing changes. Everything they need just arrives. But once they're born, they've got to wait a bit for their feed. They've got to wait a bit for their cuddles. They're not used to that, and so it takes them a little bit of time. So they need a lot of reassurance in those early days. And the Pepi-Pod is to support you at that time. It's made of polypropylene, which is a food-grade plastic. It's not like the kind of plastics that are getting bad press at the moment, the single-use plastics. This is a multiple-use product, It can be used many times, and that makes it cost effective for the health service. It's also a different kind of plastic in the sense that it's recyclable. If this is melted, if this is heated, it melts. It doesn't burn. It doesn't give off gases. It melts, and you can make something else from it. And many Pepi-Pods are recycled into compost bins. That it's another product that they can be used as. So it is a different kind of plastic, and it's important that it is cost effective so that the health service can in fact protect our little ones in this way. So that is it's a health tool. It's a bit like the baby beds in hospitals. It's a health tool. It's not trying to be a fashion item. Thus, it's very simple. Right, the mattress. The mattress is made from eco-foam, no off-gassing. It's covered in a moisture-proof layer, and it can be wiped clean, and it fits the Pepi-Pod space snugly so that your baby can't get a wee nose caught down the side and get squished, and that's not good for their air, for their breathing. It comes with a sheet system, which is really perhaps a little unusual for those who are not used to the Pepi-Pod. Like a T, this part is where the mattress slips in. So we slip the mattress into that piece. And then we secure it snugly by, got a little bit at the end to keep it in. And this is the top of the bed. Now, why is it like that? It's like that because we are trying to protect your baby's face so that nothing can get over the baby's face. If you don't have a sheet, you can use a pillowcase to do the same thing. If your Pepi-Pod did not come with a sheet system. So that's the bottom sheet. This particular one has a cool side and a warm side. They're both 100% cotton, but you might choose to have the warm side in winter or at night, and the cooler side in summer or during the day. It's up to you. Then we get our little one. We place our Pepi in the pod, and we always handle our babies very gently in the early days because of the need to protect their head. So we just go down gently with the little one. Where you put them in the Pepi-Pod doesn't matter too much. If this was a cot, it definitely would matter. You'd need to place them nearer the end. But wherever you put them in the Pepi-Pod, you bring the sheets just up to their chin, no further, and it can't slip down any further. When you use your Pepi-Pod in an adult bed, it's very important to place your baby at the top of your Pepi-Pod, because you need to place your Pepi-Pod at the top of your bed, and you need to have your pillow pulled down a little bit further, as we've said before, so that your baby has as much clearance of your bedding as possible. Why? A clear face. It's easy to breathe, it's safe to sleep. We don't want any risk of your bedding getting over your baby, especially around the face. So up comes the sheet, and we take it to just under the chin. And when we tuck it in to be under the baby's weight. So try and get it under the baby's weight, not just poked down. It's the weight of your baby that will secure the sheet and give them a sense of feeling held. They may bring their little hands up for cooling. Babies use skin to cool from, so they need some options, and they also need to be able to suck for comfort if they need to. So best not to cover little hands. We need some more warmth. So that's the sheet system for keeping a clear face, but clearly it's not enough. So we also need something warm on top, and we use merino. Merino is the best. 100% merino. It's a very powerful fibre. It gives warmth without much weight. And this is the only blanket or only cover that you need to use in a sleep space, in a Pepi-Pod. So we tuck your little one again under And if you don't think that's enough warmth, then use more clothing on your baby. And you're the best judge of that. But more clothing for whatever the conditions are, whether it's a cold house or a cold season or whatever, you need to manage the warmth of your baby, but it's not with covers. So you dress the baby, not the bed. Dress the baby, not the bed. When your baby goes into a cot and is too big for the Pepi-Pod, then it becomes more important. You don't have any covers in the cot. You just have the baby on the mattress. So that's when you need to wear more clothing. The baby needs to wear more clothing in the cot. No covers. Because a little baby who's 4, 5, 6 months on, they're getting quite wriggly. And they just love to practice their moves. So that is when they can get into difficulty by their own actions. They can get into situations they can't get out of. So if there's no covers to get tangled in, they are much safer. So the older baby needs no covers and only clothes when they're sleeping. But it's for you to judge how warm how much they need. Okay, so that's how to make up a Pepi-Pod sleep space and how to use it and where to use it. In or on an adult bed, on a couch, in any makeshift situation or when away from home. Next is about how babies breathe. When you understand a little bit about how babies breathe, it's easier to understand the advice about how to sleep them safely. So let's start with, how do they get their oxygen? Well, babies get their oxygen through tubes. Before they're born, they get it through blood tubes. After they're born, they get it through airways. And they can only breathe through their noses. So a clear face, especially around the nose, is very, very important to safety. So here are the 4 ways in which an airway might block. It can have a covered face, it can have a squished nose, have a bent neck, or there can be pressure against a little chest. So a covered, squished, bent, pressed action can slow or block oxygen through an airway. Now you can, if you don't have a little tube that came with your pod, you can use a hose or a drinking straw or some other little piece of tubing to demonstrate this to your friends or your cousin or your family, anybody who might care for your baby. Because it's quite powerful. When people understand how babies suffocate, how an airway can block, they're much more resourced to protect that baby. So, covers over the face, that's why we have the sheet system the way it is. A squished nose, that's why we have a fitted mattress in the bed. A bent neck, that's why we ask flat and level when your baby sleeps. And pressure across the chest, there are barriers here to protect against that if your baby was in your bed. So that is a little tool for you to use to share your knowledge and help protect other babies. You have influence. What you do and what you say influences others. So we thank you for that influence. We ask you to use it to protect more babies. And remember these 2 things. If it's easy to breathe, it's safe to sleep. And if you share your knowledge, you protect more babies. So thank you very much. My best wishes to you. Kia ora. So we thank you for that influence. We ask you to use it to protect more babies. And remember these 2 things. If it's easy to breathe, it's safe to sleep. And if you share your knowledge, you protect more babies. So thank you very much. My best wishes to you. Kia ora.